Os. Hello everyone, my name is Saburo Takashima. I'm a chief instructor of Aikido Tenkan. This is my second edition of Aikido Shiho Nage technique, and from the last shooting, which is the first one, I have introduced some of the common mistakes and also some of the important points of Shiho Nage, how to use your lower body's movements, how to use your sword, hand cutting, avoiding uke to escape from the cutting motion. So in this second video, I also would like to continue these some ideas of Shiho Nage technique, which I found is very important. Okay. In Yoshinkan, Shiho Nage, basically uke grabs the lower wrist in a slight pulling power, so that after attempt you basically move diagonally forward. But you know, when I have an experience practicing this technique with a different style, for the first time, uke had this static grip, which is no pulling or pushing, and I remember that I could not do anything about it. And after that, you know, I watched different style of Aikido, and I also learned, you know, some movements from my senseis, and I come up with this idea of entering against the static grip. And I hope this idea can help for the Yoshinkan instructor, as well as the instructor from different style of Aikido. Okay. So, I start with the Ryotemochi technique and static. And then I try to enter, of course, it create a conflict, and I cannot do much about it. Okay? One way is to touch or grab, you know, make a slight soft grip towards Uke's hand, and then moving around your baby finger, you know, your lower wrist moving around the baby fingers, and control uke hips too. Moving around your baby fingers slowly, and then you can get, you know, control, and then from there you can enter. Okay. Again, if you try to enter straight in like in Yoshinkan, you cannot enter. It's conflict. So you touch Uke's wrist, and you move around your little fingers like so, and you get control of Uke's body. 1, 2, and you can do it. Okay? Another one which I learned from Yoshinkan instructors, but the idea obviously come from a different style, which I assume this is Iwama style of Saito Sensei, is the foot movements is very different. The 1, 2, okay? Back leg diagonally forward, and then front leg follows. At the same time, you rotate your wrist around Uke's thumb. 1, 2, and attempt. This also already get control of Uke's hips, so Uke's become very weak, and you can basically enter to break Uke's balance. Okay? Of course, you can do it with two hands. From here, 1 and 2. We can enter. And of course, you know, we can grab a very strong grip, and basically he can most probably fight against my hand motion, but he cannot fight against my body motion. 1, 2 is way too strong. Okay, and this foot movement also allows you to do Sokumei Nage in Iwamasa, which I saw in the video. Very effective against static. Shiho Nage once said, you know, you must be able to control Uke's body from the static grip. Only then you will be able to cope with pulling or pushing. You know, during the pulling motion, you can break his balance. Only after you know how to break balance against static grip. 1, 2, okay, or 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Okay, so I use a lot of ideas from style, which is a static grab. In my case, I borrowed the idea a lot from the video of Saito Morihiro Sensei of Iwama. Okay. Okay, and another thing is how to avoid your partner escaping from your cutting motion in Shiho Nage, which I did last time. Is a soft grip. Don't create a strong grip and resulted in creating a conflict. So through the conflict, we can escape. Okay. So the one that I did last time was soft touch towards Uke's wrist, and without changing his feeling, you maximize your lower body's motion and extend, your arm. From here, and this allows allows you to be able to apply proper cut without having to escape from cut. Another thing is the idea which I got from Aikido is bringing after stretching his body, you shift your hips outside from this position, which is this image. So basically, you're not using an arm part, but you're removing your body, from where you stand. But this is pretty much Aikido. So I use this idea in Yoshigan concept, which is express the same feeling using your shifting your weight with your both knees rotating simultaneously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then pull it up and forward. Very effective. I don't do that. I think it's very good with Yoshiga style is cutting motion to get along with the pulling of your backward forward. This motion. This really creates a very strong power to make you lean backwards. Okay? Come on, not this. Today's Shiho Nage technique, I have explained how to enter against the static grip. And I really think it's a very important way to practice, particularly because in Yoshigan there's only pull and push, and when I face this static grip, I couldn't do any techniques against that. Therefore, I think it's very important for you to be able to apply the techniques against a static grab. Another thing is, Shiora Kancho said in the Kenshu video that only after you learn how to be able to control your partner with a very strong static grip, only then you'll be able to do the same thing with the pulling within the movements of pulling and pushing. That is why in my dojo I encourage my students to practice with a static. As a result, of course, the movements has to be slightly different from the original Yoshinkan style, but I found it very helpful and meaningful. Okay. In the next edition, I would like to give a little more thoughts about the Shiho Nage. Shiho Nage is known to be one of the first technique and most important technique of Aikido. Ueshiba Sensei once said, once you master Shiho Nage, you mastered Aikido. And in the book of Aikido, it said, Yoshinkan in particular, from which I know, once you, in Shiho Nage, it contains all the basic principle of Aikido. So I think it's very important for us to, look into that and, trying to find out what really means of that, the meaning of the Shiho Nage. Okay. See you next week.